Number 1, Virginia. Number 2, a bit slower, Florrie. Number 3, Battle, NJ. Number 4, Weehan. Number 5, French, Lisa. Number 6, Vice, Mayer. Number 7, Zhao Lang.
于此时起跳台决展开始第一轮动作，由于亚俄罗斯107第一。本飞脱加拿大5253第一。
That's a decent dive. Have another look on the replay. Feeling slightly more vertical. Just making the splash more minimal. Decent score, 63 for her. That's a good start as well. So here's Kim. Missed out on a medal by some distance, actually. 30 points she was behind Ren of China. Needs to get off to a good start if she is to bridge that gap today, though. Well, she set the dive up well enough. Decent enough distance from the board there, we can see as well. So here's Ren. Blueprint for her could be to stay ahead of Benfito with every round. With confidence going into the more difficult dives later on. Oh, that is an excellent dive, isn't it just? Well, I said she'll need to start well, and I think she's done exactly that with that dive. Oh, 76.5. That is an excellent start here from Ren. 1.5 over on her opening dive in the semi-final. Here's Zhang. Gold from day number 1 in the women's synchro with Liu. Looking to make it a double here on the final day. Oh, it's another brilliant dive by China. Never failed to disappoint. We're looking at 9s. Higher, I believe, than the score that Ren accumulated. See if the judges do agree with me, see if they concur with that, because that was picture perfect. Oh, look at that, yes indeed. Spot on, 81, one word, impressive. What a start by Zhang. And Fito going into round 2. Needs to better what she got from the semi-final. It was 63. Only rounds to get through. A lot can happen, as we are all fully aware. But as we go into round 2 now, once again, Timashina will start proceedings. Inward 3.5 somersaults this time. Need to kick out the legs slightly over on the entry as well there for the Russian. Better camera angle now. Rotation looked good enough. And slightly heavy on the entry as well. So she can do better. She knows that. Room for improvement going into the 3rd round. 138.2. Was the points accumulation after the 2nd round here from Benfito. She needs to just turn up the heat a notch or two. Need to be seeing 7.5s, 8s from her. Well, that's much better. Normal service has resumed with Benfito's last dive. There it is. No 8.5, but 8s. That'll do. 137.6. Still behind. Wait to see what Ren and Zhang can produce. Oh, that looked good enough. That looked good enough, actually. She took her time. And set the dive up well. Oh, that is a very, very good effort. That is, actually. Didn't do it justice the first time I viewed it. Yep, good scores as well. Kim Mi-rae of Korea, currently in 5th position. She used to spring a surprise and get herself in the shake-up come the business end of the final. Needs to be on the money with this dive. Just needed to straighten out the legs on entry. Came out of the rotation in good time, didn't she? So moderate score there for the Korean diver. What can she bring to the table here? Needs to be still in the conversation, going into round 4 at least. With regards to whether she can get a silver medal, better than last week. Good start, needs to build on that now. With her second dive coming up. Hits the mark once again. And the crowd show appreciation there from Ren. Quite sure she'll match the exploits there from round 1. It's good. Legs nice and vertical, very neat and tidy. 75.2, goes up to a total of 151.7. There's the outstanding Zhang. Inward 3.5 somersault. Magnificent diving again. Absolutely outstanding dive, in fact. 8.5s all the way across the board from the semi-final. From the judges. We'll be looking at similar, perhaps even slightly better here. We've just witnessed the best dive of round 2. Oh, look at that. She's getting better and better and better. She's good now. What's she going to be like in a few years from now? So here's the standings after round 2 of 5. Zhang unexpectedly at the top of the tree. Ren, nice distance there between herself and Benfito. Benfito now really has to go out a couple of dives in rounds 3 and 4. And right on the money if she is to get another silver and disrupt the Chinese dominance here again. Oh, we just saw Zhang execute this dive brilliantly. What can Shimonida do with it? Round 3. Slightly over on entry, but she will be marked down for that, Timashina. Toes look decent enough with regards to the position on the board. Huge amount of splash as well. And you can see there as well. Who's progressing here is Timashina. First couple of rounds for her, so needs a touch of magic here. She needs a slice of inspiration, Megan Benfito. Disparity between herself and Ren in the bronze and the silver medal positions. She won't panic, she'll stay calm, but this dive has to be almost perfection. Good enough distance from the board, not quite perfection that we was looking for, but it was solid. Good work once again from the Canadian diver. Well, she makes her way up from the pool. Another dive, 2 more rounds to go for her. Her hopes getting thinner and thinner with regards to making it back-to-back silver medals now. Just about held it together on entry. Difficult dive to execute. You can see there, not quite vertical enough, better camera angle. She takes about 67.20. Again, very consistent showing so far from her. About her business very quietly as Kim inward 3.5 somersault for her. Difficulty of 3.2 currently in 6th position. Good job to reach the final. Not too bad at all again. I've been very impressed with the way she's gone about her business so far, spread across 3 days almost. Total of 64 for Kim. And the work cut out if she is to get a medal. How things are going. It will be another Chinese 1-2, all barring a catastrophe. Ren, back 3.5 somersault this time in the silver medal position. Looking more likely that the mindset will be to hold on to the silver rather than try and spring a surprise and get the gold. Well, she lost it on entry, to be fair, on that dive. Decent enough height, got the elements of the dive in, but we can see there the water arrived too early for the Chinese diver. Young, fearless, and hugely talented. Final dive of round 3. Well, the effervescence of youth that goes by the name of Zhang produces another touch of magic. Final dive of round 3. And with that dive, looks to have secured another gold medal. Slightly more vertical on the entry, but that's been really critical perhaps. So there it is. Goes up to a total 238.45. Way ahead of where she was at from the semi. She's on par to surpass the magic 400 total mark. You can see there, Fito now almost 11 points off the silver medal position. So Armour stand forward 2 somersaults with a twist here for Timashina. And the entry's where she needs work. First half of the dive looks sound enough. So one more dive for Timashina. Now, does she have what it takes, Benfito, to take the battle to Ren? Take back what was hers from Japan last week. Maybe difficult after that dive. Hold it for a while, but the entry there, you know she can do better. 67.20. Final dive for Benfito. Looking good for a medal regardless. As to what colour it will be, we'll find out going into round 5. So she's good to go here, is Pam. Oh, solid enough. Solid work at the office again from Pam. But expect nothing else, really. Good score. She's earned it. Satisfied as she makes her way away from the platform. Now, what can she produce here, Kim? Difficult dive here. Round 4, we'll see the same dive from Ren and Zhang also. Some whoops from the crowd. Some Korean supporters out there, perhaps. Missing enough distance away from the platform. Comes out of the rotation in good time. Solid enough there on the entry. Consistent again with the scores. Talk about consistency. And there's been a model of consistency for quite a while now. Looking to get on in the act here with a medal. To wait until the final day to do so. Set the dive up quickly, crowd liked it. Next question is, will the judges? Slightly over on entry, you can see that clearly. Good enough. 7.5. Other than that, 8 there, 75.2. Solid score again from Ren. Dive looks to have perhaps done enough to hold off the challenge from Benfito. We'll soon see, but here's Zhang. See, she holds it for slightly longer. Well, that most definitely was worth the wait. Splendid effort again from Zhang. So technically astute. A joy to watch. Of that, there's very little doubt. So 8's all the way. It's up to a total 315.25. So here's where we're at going into the final round. Benfito has almost 8 points between herself and Pam of Malaysia. An even bigger gap between herself and Ren. So the order might change around slightly going into the final round. Let's not forget, it wasn't a Chinese 1-2 last weekend. Benfito split the two Chinese divers. Didn't see Timashina in Japan. Looking to sign off with a better dive before she can put her feet up. Well, she may have just done that, actually. The talent that she has, some of the scores that she's earned today. That she can do better. Entry slightly better also from what we've seen from her today, but similar kind of score as well. So she goes over the 300 mark, wave to the crowd. She can put her feet up for the moment at least, and she'll re-emerge once again in the mixed 10-meter synchro final. Benfito will be in it as well. She believed this can be the dive of her life. Turn up the heat and grab the silver. Oh, it's a better dive this time from Benfito. Oh dear. Was that a grimace? Was that a smile from Mr. Miranda? I'll let you decide. Anyway, regardless of that, that was the final dive there of Megan Benfito. 336.4 her total. Looking at 9s here. And it could, just could, be a surprise bronze. Well, she laid it all out there. At the entry. Has been the Achilles heel for Pam. All in all, it's a very consistent showing from her. Have to give her that. Well, consistency again. That's the buzzword, isn't it? 7's all the way from the judges. In 5th position. Kim here looking to match exploits from Sagamihara, ending just outside the medals. Oh, and she ends with a sound dive. Always good to finish off, bringing your A game to the table. Not good enough perhaps to get a seat at the table with regards to a medal, but all in all she should be well satisfied with her evening's work. Can say the same for Ren, really. Ended last week with a total score of 371.4. Oh, look at that for an entry. Oh, that was great viewing. Brilliant dive that was. Hardly any splash at all. Wow. Oh, the judges certainly liked it, didn't they just? 371.20, slightly down on her total score from last week, but that dive more than good enough to round off her evening's work for her. It's been a very business-like performance from young Zhang. Had her game face on right from the opening round. Well, we saw the toes beautifully positioned on the board, and the entry just as impressive. Oh, the Chinese coaches seek perfection, and if you please, coaches such as them, you know that you've done an excellent job, and that dive gets better and better the more you view it. 84.20, couple of 9s and an 8.5, and Zhang has demonstrated her impressive talent once again and blown away the rest of the field. Just over the 400 mark, Ren bags the silver, and Benfito finishing 6.5 points ahead of Pam, this time to get the bronze.